Hey Justin, how's it going, man? Looks like you got some good changes to this shot. Let's take a look at it, see what's going on.
Side kick! Rabbit punch! Oh, you want to spray me? How about this? Arm grab! Hey! Snap kick! Side kick! Rabbit punch! Oh, you want to...
Cool, man. You did a lot of good stuff that I could see that you buttoned down the feet. You may have worked in the arcs in some of the areas with the pelvis and stuff like that. I see you did something at the beginning with the head. Very cool stuff. Um, Rebecca mentioned something about the head not feeling controlled, and I kind of have to agree with her. One of the things I was going to mention about that is, and Rebecca even said it's got great attitude,
Oh,
which
you
it
want to
certainly
spray me?
does.
How about this?
But again, it just goes back to the only thing that I see from my standpoint personally is the. Oh, by the way, I love what you've done with the end of the shot. It just completes it somehow. Um, just that extra punch. It just totally like puts the period at the end of the sentence. So I think that was, and the punch has really great attitude at the end as well. But everything that I see from my end, or just from these eyes looking at it, is just strictly arc and spacing related. So if we look at this this beginning um, statement, oh, you want to spray me? A lot of great attitude with the head movements, but it's very important to keep the arc of the nose, even though those movements are going on. So, like if we look at right here, if we just look at this part right here, where he kind of tilts his head and goes this way. Um, First off, if we look at his nose and plot the arc of his nose, through these frames here, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, his head is kind of arcing up like this to come to a rest like this, right? But then when he goes into this action here at 30, you could see that it starts going to the right. So we have an arc that's looking like this. And then, and it only does that for like one frame. And then it starts to kick over this way again. And you can see that it's pretty much kicking over this way in a straight line. And then it like comes to there's a big spacing there, and then there's a very little spacing there. And then it comes back this way. So there's kind of this weird arc where it kind of goes up like this, over this way, kind of linearly across this way. Um, and then there's a huge spacing jump like from here to here, and then it goes like that. So I think that's what is sort of throwing, and there's other areas, as you look at this, what you may want to think about doing is come to a rest out of that move across 23, 24, 25. Just slow down and then maybe pick up speed again going this way, so you have an arc that's complete like this. And then if you're going to change direction, make sure to either dip down and go back or go up again and go back. So you're always in some sort of S or curly Q, backwards E, retarded G, you know? I think, like, especially I see it in this move across here because this is a scenario where I could tell you're rotating the head like this on this axis, but unless you also rotate along the other three axes as well, like across here, the head should also be rotated back a little bit, just slightly, just to create the arc like that. And then also to even your spacing, the head has to be turned slightly this way. Because right now, with just this type of a rotation, that's what's causing that sort of linear nose arc and sort of awkward spacing. So basically, watch your arcs, I guess, especially with the nose. It does kind of feel like it hits a little wall right there, but again, I think that can be, I think and I'm not sure if you're doing this or not, but a lot of this is solved with just offsetting your curves. So like, um, in that move where he's going across this way, there's anytime you have like something like this going on, which is like this attitude that you've got going on, the head curves are going to be totally offset with each other. So like with a move like he's doing there, you may rotate this way on time or early, but you may drag this later, okay? So it can kind of come in here like this, but there's a drag on the head creating that flow like that, right? So it could be to create this sort of attitude movement. It's leading with the nose, so it's going to rotate on time, but you're going to sort of drag this rotation back a couple frames. And then again on the way out, I'm leading with the nose and dragging with the head. And it gets more complex when I put the neck in there. But that's just kind of show you, anytime you get that, something like this, there's going to be offset of curves. And I think that might be what you might be missing from that animation. And when you offset curves, that's where the arcs come from, and that's where the attitude and the acting comes from. So I'm not sure if you're doing that now or not. If you are, you may want to exaggerate it a little bit more, but really just watch the arcs in that section of the nose.
Jimmy, how about this? Arm grab!
And also through here, so I think you did something with the hand here. I mentioned that the hand pose here looks a little odd. I think it still sort of does, and I think it just it's the change here that I would personally be looking for. Just that from the relaxed pose to the clutching, it's a big change. And if he's kind of partially clutching up here and clutching all the way 100% down here, then it doesn't look as powerful. So if this is 100% clutch, get rid of this. This is 100% clutch. He's kind of right now, he's at, before he was sort of really at like 35 going to 100. Now he's kind of like at 15 going to 100. And I would almost like to see him almost like at -5 to 0%, a really relaxed sort of hand pose going into that. And I'll show you what I mean. So here, if we look at just these portions of the knuckles, these top knuckles, they're pretty hardcore. You've relaxed the, we'll call this joint 1, joint 2, but joint 3 is still pretty hardcore. It's like here, this one is like at a 45-degree angle to this. You know what I'm saying? And I would almost say it's kind of like that with all of them, except the pinky looks a little straighter. But the pinky joint 2 is kind of still too cocked. I would half the percentage of all of these. So if let's say right now, finger 1, joint 3 is at 45%, or a 45-degree angle from joint 2, so that's kind of his finger right here, I would half that degree. So what's that, 22.5? So you kind of get more of a finger shape that looks like this rather than a finger shape that looks like this. You know what I'm saying? And the pinky just looks too brutal right here at this joint. I would relax both of those joints on the pinky. And the thumb, that needs to be relaxed as well, so it's kind of like this. So you're kind of shooting for something that looks, you know, relaxed. And maybe just splay the fingers a little bit, you know? So he's like he's ready to, you know, you can see right now my pinky is relaxed, but the base joint is sort of more bent than the other ones. But you can see the overall shape is just kind of just slightly curved, right? So arm grab. And I think going up is important too, which you do a little bit here. Oh, interesting. So what's going on here that I see is it looks like there's a wall right here, and he's compressing up into the wall. So I think what I would do if I were you, arm grab. Maybe delay the fingers a little bit. So he kind of goes up, and then starts to bring them in on the way down. Because right now he's kind of bringing them in at the same pace he's going up. And it just kind of looks like there's a wall there and he's squishing up against it and coming down. So maybe, and the go up should be pretty quick. So like, so he starts to bring the fingers in almost like on the last frame up. And most of the time it's kind of like in that, there's like spacing. It's coming down slowly and he's bringing his fingers in fast, and then okay, so right now, to relate it in what you have now, he kind of goes up a lot before he comes down, and I would suggest go up very quickly and then pull down slowly and then increase your spacing. So in terms, I mean, it's a quick movement, but in terms of the movement, I would spend less time going up. Just go up a little bit and then have small spacing coming down as the spacing coming in with your fingers is big, and then increase to this. Anyway, spending a lot of time on that. I think, I don't know, I would be looking for a really powerful, you know, arm grab, you know, just like really, that's like a really powerful part of the scene. That all looks great, by the way. This looks fantastic. You lock down the feet, which makes it look 8 million times better. You may or may not have, I can't tell from the last time, but it looks like you might have done some pelvis arc work here. Looks like you have him coming up at that angle going forward there a little better, which is good. Good anticipation through here. He kind of goes back that way, and then he kind of goes up. So it looks like you might have worked on the arcs a little bit in there. You might still want to watch out for this pupil. Maybe get it out there a little bit more. Looks like you're working the jaw on alternate axis beginning. This a little bit. Nice stuff. I like how his eyes are squinted through here. Good spacing on the arm. Very powerful looking. He looks pissed off. Yeah.
Oh, you want to spray me? How about this? Arm grab! Snap kick. Side kick. Rabbit punch. Oh, you want to spray?
Cool, man. Good work. It looks good. You know, just like I said, moving forward, I would just really watch those arcs and start maybe delaying some curves if you could. But very nice stuff. Thank you for your email. I'm going to get around to something sooner or later, and I'd love to get your opinion on it. So thanks again. I hope you're well, and keep rocking it, man. You're doing great. Take care.